Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the FPL Affairs podcast, the podcast that strips back to lay bare our season-long love affair with FPL. In our Game Week 6 Unwrapped video, we reflect on our decisions, such as wildcard activation, going into the game week and how our selections fared. We also discuss key talking points from the fixtures to consider different players that could improve our ranks going forward. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for all of our content, and if you hit the bell for notifications, you should find out when we release something new. Anyway, enough of my small talk. Let's get cracking.
And there's Mo Salah. There goes Haaland. He's on his way again. He's hungry. He scored. Ice cold precision from Palmer. Oh, Saka! That is a diamond of a goal.
Greetings everybody to our Game Week 6 review, FPL Affairs Unwrapped, with me, Matt, aka the FPL Affairs Magpie, and joining me, as always, is the boss man himself, the FPL Affairs Lion, Lewis. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. Had a successful triple captain, so that I'm sure we'll come on to that. But yeah, it was
We
it was a good weekend.
we will. We will. Lots to talk about. So before we move on to it, very slight restructuring for this episode. We're going to do the Admins Awards as a separate short video. So this one we will concentrate solely on comparing our teams, our chip strategies, and some talking points without waffling
Cool.
too much. So should we have a peek at your team first?
Can do.
Alrighty. Right, so I've got down on our thumbnail Wildcards Unwrapped, partly because I wildcarded. You
Hmm.
didn't. Kieran did. He's unable to join us, sadly. But you did triple captain, as you said. So
Yeah,
that will be
yeah,
a useful talking point later. So I've got pictured Gabrielle
yeah.
after yesterday, which, yes, we'll come to as well. And
Hmm.
alongside him, the upside for Gabrielle owners and Gabrielle himself. And on the flip side, Bruno Fernandes having missed
Hmm.
the second of his three penalties this season, which we will come on to Bruno's inclusion into wildcards, both template and whether I did or not. But
Yeah.
first, we will look at your triple captain. Talk us through your choice, your selection. Did you do any transfers going into it?
So I had one transfer, which was 8 Nori, who was flagged, obviously. So I just did a straight swap to a Man City defender. I would have gone Guardiola, but I'm
Mm.
wild carding in 2 weeks, so I took a punt on O'Reilly. Didn't make any difference in the end anyway because they conceded in the first half. So yeah, one free transfer. Haaland triple captain. So that was actually one that I penciled in when I first did my first draft, and like I think I said on a pod before, I always kind of go
Mm.
6 week. I go kind of 6 weeks ahead. I don't really go any
Yeah.
further than that, but always kind of 6 weeks. And the way that I'd set it up was to do free hit in 4 and triple captain Haaland in 6. So I'd sort of picked that out very early. Obviously
Mm.
things can change, but that was always the plan. And when it came around all week, I was kind of thinking like, I've got to go through with it. But then there was sort of, he was flagged, wasn't he? And he came, and there was all rumors, Pep hadn't said whether he was trained and things like that. So all of a sudden,
Mm.
you start getting a few doubts. So during the week, I did consider not using it, but yeah, as I think on Friday when he said that Haaland was good to go, I thought, yeah, got to go
Yeah.
through with it. So and even once, in the game, I don't think he got his assist till about the 70th, did he?
Mm.
He was quiet throughout the game. He got his assist on about 70, and at that point, you're just thinking, well, at least he hasn't completely blanked. And then, yeah, two quick fire goals in the 90 plus minutes, and
The
that turned into a
second
monster score.
the second one was ridiculous though. Two Burnley defenders jumping up for the ball and then
Yeah,
just effectively giving it a flick on, so giving Haaland a
yeah.
flick
I
on
did
so he
wonder
cleaned it
whether
in.
Esteve or whoever that was might have also triple captained Haaland as well, just to
Possibly.
tee off a nice nice score for him. But yeah, outside of that, I had Watkins, who I've stuck with. He is due to go on wildcard 8, but he had to score eventually, so I was quite happy to
Mm.
keep him. And on the Sunday, Rice had an absolute monster performance against City. So he was, sorry, against Newcastle, he was up and down, defcons. He got the assist. He ended up with two bonus. He was on three bonus until that late Gabriel header. But he had a great game. So I was pleased to see Rice get some points for me. Outside of that, pretty much blank. Sells hasn't kept a clean sheet for me all season. Williams, likewise, although he did get a goal last week. Double Spurs defence that got busted at home to Wolves. Elliot Anderson did get defcons this week, but he also picked up a yellow card, I believe.
Mm.
Gakpo, surprisingly to a lot of us, didn't actually start the Palace game. I think after he was benched in the Carling Cup, Carabao Cup, I think a lot of us expected Gakpo to start, so that came a bit out of the blue that he didn't start. But that was a tough game anyway, so I wouldn't have necessarily expected too much from him. But overall, yeah, very happy with that. I think was that 70. How many? I can't see it's under
43.
the back.
That's all right. I got it. In large coming up.
79. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, 79 is a big green arrow for me. Um, yeah, 60% rank change, which is a bit of a monster, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, 27 points above your safety score.
Lovely. Yeah, I'll take that. A little bit aggrieved that Watkins wasn't given his assist, which I think he deserved as he ran down the channel, cut it back. What was your views on that? Do you think because it hit Rogers, it has to go to him, or do you think the fact that it hit his hand and because FPL kind of said that this year they're not going to use deflections to take away from the assister, and I think there's been other examples where that's happened and they haven't, and they've still given the
Yeah,
assist to the guy that
it's
crossed it.
it's been a bit of a grey area
Yeah,
slash confused area because um as you said, there's been some deflections, but then there's still the aspect of how many, because I
touches.
think
Yeah,
it's allowed one deflection from a defender
right.
and the assist doesn't get taken away, provided
Okay.
the goal scorer, the person it goes to after the deflection, scores the goal. Or I would,
Yeah, and I think one thing that they announced was that they've taken away intended target because intended target used to be there. Basically, if you put a cross in and you were aiming at the back post and it fell to the near post and someone put it in, they wouldn't give you the assist. But apparently this year they were going to take away intended target to say if you put a cross in the box and it results in a goal, you'll get the assist because essentially you've
yeah,
forced that goal to
mm,
happen, kind of thing, which I think is fair enough. And looking at that Watkins one, you would say he was the guy that got down the byline, cut it in. Yes, it might have skimmed Rogers' hand, but he put it into the box. Buendia stuck it away. That's a Watkins assist for me all day long, but it's only 2 points or 3 points. I'm not going to cry about it.
mm. Mind you, it
So yeah,
depends whether it would have affected Watkins' bonus.
yeah. So he ended up on two bonus. I'm pretty sure, obviously, if he would have been awarded that assist, he would have then got the additional one bonus. So yeah, maybe sort of
An extra 4
four-ish
points.
points, but yeah, a bit of a kick in the nuts, but swings and roundabouts. But yeah, altogether 79. Very happy with that on triple captain and to the lofty heights of 1.1 million.
Yeah, game week rank of 300 and just under 369,000 in
Yeah,
the world for the game week score. And a
yeah.
nice naked bench. Well, Potts did get something small this evening. I forgot to update that bit on the
No,
stats.
that's fine. He
Yeah,
would have he would have also got a one. So
yeah,
yeah, that's just what you want to see on the bench, isn't it? A row of one pointers.
yeah. Four ones.
Yeah.
Four ones, right. We'll move on to mine. So I'm
Yes.
wild carded,
Yes.
um, finishing on 60 points.
Just quickly, Matt, have you already used triple captain or did you
No,
wild card?
wild card's the first chip I've
Oh,
used.
okay. So you are still loaded up on chips, then that's good.
Yeah, I've still got bench boost, the first bench boost, first triple captain, first
Yeah.
free hit.
Okay. And if you
Um,
hadn't if you hadn't wildcarded this week, I presume you would have used triple captain on Haaland, yeah? If you hadn't,
100%. And I'm not
yeah.
just saying that 100%.
No, yeah,
Um,
I feel like you would have done. I feel like there was a real split this week of people that didn't already have Haaland that were wildcarding him in and Salah out, and then
mm,
the ones that weren't doing that were obviously triple captaining if they hadn't already used it.
Yeah,
So
because I'd planned to get Haaland in for this week
mhm,
without free hitting because earlier in the season there was a big thing about you either game week 4 free hit to get Salah in if you started the
yeah,
season Haaland or you free
exactly.
hit game week 6 if you
Yeah,
started with
that's right.
Salah so you can get Haaland for Burnley. And I
Yeah,
thought, right, because I haven't really had any or many um, buyers to put out, I was able to roll last week's transfer. So I had 2 free transfers going into game week 6,
yeah,
which was going to be Salah out, Haaland in, and
yeah,
I hadn't entirely decided whether to sell Wood or Watkins,
yeah,
and I hadn't fully decided who I was going to bring in place of Salah, and I wanted all of the game week 5 fixtures done before I decided. And then with various other situate with Murillo injury for Forest. I'll try not to get confused with which weeks, but and I looked at price, um, lined up price changes for the week,
yeah.
and there was going to be loads of players I was thinking of getting in on Wildcard that were going to be going up in price, and players that I had were going down in price. Um, so and there was going to be, I think, about 7 or 8 changes I was going to make. Um, Probably 7. So I thought, you know what, I'll just
Yeah,
hit it maybe a week or 2 earlier than
yeah.
planned. Um, and even now,
So actually,
to be honest,
yeah,
I could sit here having after Wood blanked and Watkins returned, I could sit here and say, oh yeah, the plan was get rid of Wood and I'd have Haaland and Watkins. To be fair, I may have gotten rid of Watkins. Probably not because his fixtures were better than Forest.
mhm.
But I can't 100% say that. And I hadn't decided who was going to fill the Salah role.
I
I
think
was
you might have
considering.
also, yeah, you might have also seen that Igor Jesus scored a brace in the cup against Betis as well. That also might have been a factor in
Yeah.
you thinking actually it might be time for Wood to go because
Mm.
he's got another guy here scoring. So yeah,
So I then looked. I started off loading up the game week with the players, even ones I didn't want, especially want, who were most likely to go up in
yeah,
price over the week,
yeah.
just to sort of experiment to see whether if any went up twice, um,
Did that
the
happen?
impact. No,
Okay,
unfortunately not. But out of my 15, 1, 2, 5, 6, half of them have gone up in price this week.
no,
So anyway, we'll move on to actually how I scored.
yeah,
The Pope swing, the last 10 minutes of the game yesterday was both horrible from a Newcastle fan perspective, but also fantasy wise, because I looked at the team I'd planned vaguely all week, then looking at the template content creators ones online, and it was I had 12 the same or
yeah,
13 the same. So I thought, right, what subtle, sensible little changes could I make to it? And I decided to go Pope instead of Raya,
right,
for one, because along with Arsenal, we've been the best defence this
yeah,
season, the best in terms of expected goals conceded. So I
and
thought I'd
clean
go with
sheets. Yeah,
Pope.
yeah,
I also decided to go with Foden over Bruno
mhm,
Fernandes, with the view of City's fixtures over the next 3 were quite nice, so he could be a short-term thing.
yeah,
I also went with Richarlison over Gyökeres because I thought 1 week, 1 week punt on Richarlison. Um, Obviously, Richarlison didn't work out. Foden kind of did slightly over Bruno.
yeah,
Um, but I did sort out the funds. I've got over 3 million in the bank, so I've got enough to be able to do Richarlison to um, Richarlison to Gyökeres in one move
Yeah.
going into the weekend if I want to. Um, Plus, I got the money to go Foden to Bruno game week 9, which had been a thought in one without having to juggle some funds. And the thought was, I was very much, it was up until the last few minutes about three of my defenders.
Mm,
Tarkowski was nailed, Senesi was nailed, Gabriel was nailed, and I was umming and ahhing between Richards, Van der Ven, and Anderson, and comparing their fixtures with each other and fixture rotation with the other defenders I've got. And looking at Richards, I wasn't going to play for several weeks, so I thought, right, he's going to be one that will tick along really nicely, but he won't get brought in off so much that he'll go up in price.
mm,
Um, the same with Anderson, I think. And Fulham have got a few rough ones, hence why I went with a kind of double Spurs. So reading it out, Pope going from 10 or 11 points down to two, conceding those two late goals. Having a blanking Gabriel on the bench, which was nice because a lot of wildcarders would have had Raya and Gabriel in their
yeah.
lineup. So one of the great things about Voltemada's goal was just like, right, the Arsenal double clean sheet for competition has been wiped, and I still
Yeah.
had one. Um, so yeah, it was a bit of a kick in the teeth. Reading the teams out, Pope 2 points, Senesi 7, which I wouldn't have got from my team before. Van der Ven 2, Tarkowski 1, Foden 1, and Di 2, Reinders 2, Semenyo 7. I would have got those because I had him already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Haaland captain 32 points there, Richarlison 2, João Pedro 2. And then on the bench, Dubravka 1, Caicedo didn't get Defcon.
Yeah.
Gabriel's 13
Yeah.
and Goodmanson's 1. Um,
Did you keep Van der Ven based on well, obviously the fixture that they had this week, and also did you have him at the start of the season at 4.5? Have you hung on to him?
no, I had
Oh,
Porro.
oh, okay. So you've switched, yeah, to
I
release a
had
bit of
Porro,
cash.
so I switched
Switch.
because I thought, oh, Porro. I'm not sure if he was actually close to going down in price, but Van der Ven
Yeah.
was close to going up. So I thought,
Yeah.
well, if I can catch that,
As an
he
investment,
goes
yeah, that's
up.
good.
Spurs have
Mm,
a good couple of games. He'd
mm.
potentially go up again, and then I'll hop off and get in Anderson when Fulham's fixtures turn. That was
And that
kind of
ended, and that ended up being a good move on paper because Porro ended up being benched anyway. So
yeah.
it was just unfortunate that they didn't keep the clean sheet because you would have gained, double on the fact that
Mm,
Porro was benched. Richarlison's unlucky. I mean, Wolves at home, you'd expect Spurs to score at least two, maybe three in that fixture. So the fact they've not scored one until
mm,
injury time, and it was Paulina or whoever got it. Yeah,
mm.
that was unlucky. Um, João Pedro again, two games back to back. Chelsea going down to 10 men. Not a lot you can do about that.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking it. Like you put a post in the group about it's this thing about him having one shot on target in the last three
Two
games or
games, yeah,
something. It's
yeah.
like, well, two of them, his
Context, yeah,
team's been down to 10 men, and I think away
yeah,
to Man United, Maresca took off all of the attacking players other than João Pedro.
yeah. He didn't stand a chance, did he?
So it's just very
Wow.
isolated, and any involvement just wasn't in attacking areas.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how that's affected my rank. 60 points, 17 points above my safety score,
Hmm.
17 on the bench, 13 of which was Gabriel's. Moved me up from 5.9 million to 4.35. So a change of 20, just under 27%. Um,
Yeah, that's a decent green arrow. You take that.
mm,
Was there anybody that you were close to putting on this wild card that you didn't, like someone like a Doku or a um, Bowen, or was there anyone that kind of would have scored
no,
points that you no, because like
um, other than the
no,
ones that I mentioned, it was actually split because I had Richards and Anderson already, and I had Porro,
yeah,
which I definitely wanted red.
yeah,
And it was kind of the costings of making the short-term punts and having the money in the bank that I could get to the players, certain players in the next week or so
Yeah,
easily in one without having to do juggling around.
yeah.
Um, and seeing where where to go. And I really wanted to get Caicedo in as my fifth midfielder as opposed to Stack, which the vast majority of content creators were going for.
Yeah.
Just because it was what, 500,000 price difference or zero point 0.6. Um, and that I largely saved just by doing Pope instead of Raya.
I take it you couldn't afford Enzo with those funds, no? You couldn't get
No.
up to Enzo from Caicedo,
Um,
no?
Although it could potentially be an option if whatever's happening with Bruno. But
Yeah, you would have had to make a sacrifice elsewhere. But,
mm, one of the talking points, actually, we will save it till last. We'll move on to the talking points now.
yeah, go on, yeah.
I think because that will kind of loop back.
Yeah,
So yeah, let's talk about Bruno. We've got five talking
yes.
points. The first few we should probably get through quite quickly. Um,
Okay.
Lots of content creators were including Bruno on their wild card. I had him
Hmm.
before and I actually took him out because
Yeah, well done.
I fancied Foden over the game weeks more so
Yeah,
than
yeah.
Bruno because I thought this week's game was going to be a bit tough anyway. I think next week's against Sunderland
That's his best
is
one on
it's
paper.
flattering,
Yeah,
but Sunderland are defending so well, and that will come on to a second talking point.
yeah,
So I just thought, you know what, I'll get rid of Bruno temporarily, bring in Foden for a few games.
yeah.
Um, Hopefully that will be a difference, and yeah, Bruno gets a -1.
My
Um,
my take on Bruno is that he is too expensive. He's 9 million. Looked at him from the start. I've never been interested in him. I would say for owners, obviously they have been a bit unlucky that he's missed the penalties, but for that amount of money for a guy who we knew was going to be playing deeper this year, that was clear from the start. Yes, he's got penalties, but he's playing in a bad team. He's going to pick up yellow cards when he's tracking back, which he has done a few times. Um, he's just not a good pick for me in FPL. I appreciate there's people that feel strongly the other
mm,
way about that because he does play every game and things, but yeah, he's never been an interest to me, and I probably won't own him all season. I don't think.
yeah, oh, we shall see where.
If I was going Man United, which I might well have a 1 week punt on next week because I'm wild carding in eight, my midfielder of choice will be Embuemo. Um, I think I'll have 8.4 million to do one transfer next week, and at the moment I'm eyeing up bringing in Embuemo for a 1 week punt.
Mm, yeah, I I think I'm very much questioning whether or not I will go back to Bruno in the end. We'll see how Foden goes, but it might be a. But I mean, I've got funds and we'll come for various options.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're definitively a no to Bruno for those reasons you gave.
yeah,
I'm on the
on the fence
fence
a bit more.
because
Okay,
I have been very much no, he's staying with his source to points and
yeah,
various to funds wise, not being able to have both him and Foden and thinking, well, I'd rather Foden over the next few weeks. So
how much is
I'll,
Foden?
I'll go Foden's 8.1. He went up during the week.
Yeah, so you save 1 million on Foden, and that's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. So that was the
Number
reason I
two,
went
then,
off him.
starting promoted players. So that is basically, are you kind of asking for those of us that own your Rodons, your Alderetes,
Yeah, like
your stacks? Yeah,
you sort of your enable it, like your fifth choice defender, your
yeah,
fifth choice midfielder,
yeah,
um, possibly your third choice forward if you've gone for a budget forward, and just really from how Sunderland are defending, how Jaden Anthony is attacking for Burnley, and Leeds are looking quite solid in places. It's
yeah,
whether to actually not just have them as bench warmers, but actually play them when they've got reasonable fixtures ahead of
yeah,
a more expensive asset who's got a tough fixture.
yeah. yeah, I mean that Alderete is looking the real deal. I've seen him in a couple of games now, and it's not just the goal that he scored. They're actually he's winning a lot of tackles, winning a lot of headers and things. And with Defcons this season, it's going to be a factor, isn't it? At the end of the day, if you play for a
Mm.
promoted team, you're going to be in a much more stronger position to hit Defcons every week. So if you're then doubling that up with a goal or a random clean sheet, and you
Mm.
cost 4 million, it's funnily enough. So my current game week 8 wild card,
Yeah.
which is a Haaland and Salah draft. At the
Mm.
moment, I think I've got Rodon, Alderete, Esteve, Van de Ven because I already own him for his value to hold his team value, and then another 4.5. I think it might be Anderson. So I'm actually very tempted to go with a complete budget back line of 3 4 million defenders, one from each promoted team. So
Yeah.
which will end up meaning that I play at least one of them every week,
Mm.
and I feel quite comfortable about that at the moment. Yes, you can pay a bit more for your Tarkovskis or um, who else? Obviously the Forest defenders are overpriced. We've seen that already. I think the way going forwards it might be get those cheap defenders in and play them every week, and then use that cash elsewhere, which is what I'm planning to do.
Mm. Yeah, I was just looking while you were talking. Alderete from 5 starts, he's got the DEFCON threshold 4 out of those 5.
Has he really? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
As well as one or two goals, and he hit
Mm.
the bar last week, and then he scored
And
1 week and hit the bar another week. Yeah,
yeah, and fellow Sunderland defender Mukiele, he's started
yeah,
4 and he's hit
yeah.
DEFCON in 3 of those 4.
Yeah, exactly. Would you be tempted to do something similar to what I'm doing? Or, I mean, it's quite a ballsy move because I'm not going to have a Gabriel, I'm not going to have a Van Dijk, I'm not going to have all these big premium expensive defenders that everyone else is going to have, but I'm hoping that that's going to allow me to afford Salah. So my front three is going to be Gyökeres, Haaland, João Pedro. Midfield is going to be something like Salah, Gakpo, Rice, Anderson, Stack, the 5 defenders that I mentioned, and then I think I can afford Raya and Dubravka with that lineup. So yeah,
Mm.
my current wild card is going to be budget back line, stacked front line, stacked midfield, but I'm going to be playing promoted team defenders every week for at least 7 weeks.
Which I think that kind of moves us on. I think I would
Yeah,
definitely, like you were saying, definitely worth considering if you actually looking at the fixtures, playing those representatives you've got from those teams. I
yeah,
think the only really from Burnley is Stev, possibly because of DEFCON. Dubravka's the nailed 4 mil keeper, and consider Anthony as the attacking option
yeah,
there. I think defensively, though, for defenders, I'd be more inclined to go to Sunderland first. And for that,
yeah,
coming from a Newcastle fan, is a big thing.
absolutely.
Um,
So that
then
segues
then
into number
Leeds,
three then, really,
but
because
yeah,
yeah, is that do you think that is that related to DEFCONs then that you think that it might be just value
yeah,
to just play
partly,
five?
and with attacking fullbacks of
Yeah,
previous years not actually hitting the heights yet this season, and DEFCON's actually being met
being
a lot more
mm,
frequently than initially thought. Um,
yeah,
I think whereas in recent years it's generally you play 3 at the back and either 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. Whereas I
yeah.
think in perhaps not every week, but I think provided you've got defenders that are pretty regularly hitting DEFCON, then if they've got a good
Well, I mean,
fixture, then it's
if you had
perfectly.
Van Dijk, Anderson, Tarkovsky, Saliba, or Gabriel, you'd be quite comfortable playing all 4 of those every week, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
And just letting them ride. So yeah,
yeah. So I think for wild for those people that wild carded, myself included, obviously, and
mm,
those people about to, I think if you go with focus on DEFCON defenders, then you can kind of just leave them to it and concentrate and spend your transfers on your attacking positions.
yeah,
Um, I just tried
That's
to,
what
because of my rank, just tried to go a little bit
you
marginally
tweaked it a
different,
bit.
take advantage of
Yeah.
the Tottenham defence by getting Van der Ven in. Um,
Hmm.
and that's
Hmm.
kind of my main regret of my wild card. Um, Before we get to, I know I put Arsenal Newcastle as
Yeah.
four. I have a suspicion that might take us a lengthy conversation. Um,
Do you want to do five?
we'll do five first. You were always playing triple captain anyway, weren't you?
Yeah.
And it's clearly paid off
Hmm.
for you. With your oversight of the game, would you
Yeah.
say those that triple captained um, was more successful than if you people than those people that played their wild card?
Okay, so I'll caveat this with obviously it's team dependent. So you would have to compare it to your team of last week
Mhm.
to what you would have got, which
Yeah.
you've done quite fairly. And the other thing I would say is, so I would definitively say, well, generally I would say triple captain one over wildcard six, but I would say that it was also slightly fortunate to for him to have
Mm.
racked up the points that he ended up getting. Do you know what I mean? Like that the game was done at 3-1-4-1. He could have quite easily been pulled off after 85 minutes with just an assist for him to have stayed on the full game, picking up. I don't think anyone that triple captain him probably expected him to play 95. They probably expected him to play 80, 85, and you would have
At
taken
the
that.
most. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd have taken that. So the fact that he went on to play 95 and picked up 2 goals in extra time, I would hold my hands up and say that was fortunate. But most people that didn't triple captain him did captain him anyway. He was the obvious captain. I think
Mm.
if you were brave enough to go elsewhere, then I think you kind of deserve to get punished, but maybe not as bad as it was. I think people that went Salah
Mm.
away at Palace, I mean, that was just there's a little bit of hindsight, but yeah, I mean, even
Yeah,
before that, yeah,
they could perhaps lay claim that activating a triple captaincy on Salah away to Crystal Palace was they could try and claim that's an accident. Um,
yeah, but we wouldn't believe them.
Not sure, especially as it was a Liverpool fan. Not
Yeah,
mentioning
yeah.
any names, not that we know
Oh,
anyone who did
Michael,
that, of course.
Michael did it, did he?
Mm,
Yeah,
accidentally hit the triple captain, apparently.
oh, has he
But
claimed it as an accident?
I think so, yeah,
Oh, well, he'll have to come on and explain himself, hopefully.
in advance, yeah. Um, so I kind of thought afterwards the bold thing of triple captains won made me think, well, as you said, team dependent.
Mhm.
Plus, it's thinking, well, if you wild carded, that's got all the other player changes you made that were in your starting 11 to compensate that 16 points.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah,
because if they did, then it's like, well, it more than
it's
did.
probably quite close. It's probably quite. I reckon most people
Um,
wildcarded made that 16-point gap anyway.
Mine, I would have got, and this is largely, I think, because of the Watkins and a couple of the either a couple of players that I didn't keep that did get DEFCON that their replacements didn't.
Mhm.
Um, and I would have got, I think I wrote it down but left a piece of paper upstairs. I think had I have kept my wild card and played
Mhm.
triple captain instead, I would have finished the week with 76 points.
Okay,
Um, no,
and you
70,
got what? And you
seven,
got what?
70, 74 or 75. So not quite 76. It depends who would have come in for
Yeah,
Salah, but
so
I think the players that I was considering, none of them returned. So
so
yeah, it
so it's
it
very marginal.
very marginal that 16 points. But what I'm kind of yes, I would be 16 points better off, coincidentally, that it was 16 points of difference. But the difference in team value I've got from a week ago, the
Mhm.
compared to I'm over 1 million better off in team value because of rises and falls. So that the team that I've got, if I would have tried to get that team for game week 7,
Wouldn't have
well,
been possible.
it wouldn't have been possible.
Mhm.
Even though I've got 3 point odd in the bank, because,
Yeah,
well, I was wildcarding in 7, I wouldn't have done the Tottenham pair.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't have kept the money in the bank for that if I was playing it game week 7. So it would be fine margins whether I'd be able to get the exact ones I wanted to.
that is
Um,
also a very good point. So my team value is definitely sucking at the moment because I've had players that have just been sitting there. Obviously, Watkins has dropped zero point 0.3 since the start of the season. I think Eight Nori had a drop. I still have Brendan Johnson who's had a drop, but because I was planning the triple captain and not the wild card, I've had to just sit patiently and watch. Obviously, you're always going to
mm,
take points over team value, aren't you? Like that's predominantly the point of the game. So you're always going to take
mm,
points, but my team value has definitely suffered at the expense of me getting the points now. To the point where the wild card that I'm doing in 8, I've actually had to change it a couple of times in the last 2 weeks because the team that I was going to get in
yeah,
8, I now can't afford by about point. It's actually 0.3 million off, whereas when I first did it, I was I think 0.1 million in the green. So I have lost team value. I've still got Porro. Sells has dropped quite a lot, so I have
amongst
actually.
amongst. So, how can you get in touch? Where can you find us? Our email address is lowercase fplaffairs at gmail.com. On X, our user handle is at fplaffairs. Facebook, the group link is in our description on the YouTube video channel. And alternatively, you could search the Facebook group for FPL Affairs. We should pop straight up. Our YouTube channel is / at FPL Affairs, and the Spotify links are generally found at the bottom of the video, or on Spotify you could search up FPL Affairs. There may still be time to join our leagues if you haven't already. The Classic League code is 12RRCG, or the Classic code is lowercase I6NQNB. Unfortunately, the head-to-head league is now closed as the season has started. So very much the who won triple captain 6 or wildcard 6 for me. Um, for my team, triple captain would have won just about
Mm,
in the context of points, but it's then weighing up that versus a better team value, which I've got
yeah,
by going for the wild card earlier. So
and you also won't know for another few weeks until
true.
this wildcard team has played out. So yeah, you can look at it on a micro level of
Yeah.
1 week, but
No.
equally wildcard is for 8 to 10 weeks at least, isn't it? So
Yeah. So we shall see. What we will finish with is, and we're doing this one because you can't, after the talking points in itself, having this review with an Arsenal fan and a Newcastle fan and not discuss the match would be
mm,
criminal.
mm.